What's up is Way Up with Angela Yee, and I know this woman is incredibly busy. So thank you to Amaarae for joining me today. How you feeling?
Thank you for having me. I feel great. Thank you so much for having me. I've been such a fan for years and years
get out
and
of here.
years. Of course.
I would have never thought that.
Of course.
It's always amazing to me because I remember I've been doing this. It's 20 years in radio for me this year.
You're an icon.
I can't believe Amaarae said that. You're good at this, girl.
No. It's true. It's just true. I mean, probably since I was maybe like 17, 18. And I know it started with like lip service and then like stuff with Breakfast Club and, you know, all of that. So I've been tuned in for years.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I know you're coming here today and you have to be one of the busiest people. Because when I look at what you have going on, like the tours that you're going to be on, and I feel like you have this like big responsibility for just because of what you represent. You know, this is an artist who you're not in any one specific genre of music, and that is all very intentional too. And sometimes that can be like confusing for people, but for real music fans, we can just listen to it and be like, I just love this.
No, for sure. I think it's two things, like as a Black girl, number one, and then as an African girl. I know so many girls that are so cool and so diverse. And I think that I love that I get to be some type of representation for them. You know what I mean? And I think that being a genre bender, especially as an African girl, might come as confusing to some people, but so many kids that I grew up around, so many girls, so many women that I grew up around listen to so many different types of music, are so diverse in like their cultural experiences and the things that they bring to, you know, their own lives and other people's lives. So I'm just an amalgamation of like all of the women that I've met and that are around me, and you know, and I think that I bring that to my music too.
I think about that because my best friend, she when she first started doing music, she was like a punk rock artist, but she's Black, right? Santi Gold, and she had a...
Oh my God, no, that's your best friend?
Yeah.
Oh my God, another icon? Like, what are you talking about?
We went to college together, and we were roommates like all after that.
Santi Gold is the reason I like am so diverse. Like musically, she was one of the first. Like I remember when she dropped her debut album.
Sex Cells, was it? No, what was before that?
It's the one where
Stiffed.
It's the one where she's on the album cover and she's like vomiting gold.
Yes.
Oh my God, what an icon.
When I tell you, so before that, she was in a band and it was called Stiffed.
Okay.
And it was like a punk rock band. And I remember her just being like, and I love that you said it because you kind of like, in a way, somewhat of your journey reminds me of how she is.
Oh, that's so cool. I'm honored. I love Santi Gold.
Because she first started writing for other people,
right.
And then, and I know you DJ'd at first, so I know that really helps you as far as understanding like different, like how to make the crowd move,
absolutely,
and how to make sure you're doing like every crowd is different, and the DJ has such an important job when you go out because the DJ can make or break an event. You could be like, that party was amazing and it's because of the DJ, or it could be like, that party was terrible and it's because of the DJ.
Absolutely. I think that having being a DJ, like, and having that background for sure helped me with my curation skills. And like, I think even when you learn how tempos work and when you learn how to make people move, like when it comes down to even sequencing an album, that's such a great quality and skill to have because it makes it so much easier to do a job like that.
And even to produce also.
Absolutely.
Right, so for producing. But I was going to say for her, when she first came out, because she was Black, even though she was doing this other like genre of music, they would never categorize her as that or even play her on certain stations because she's a Black artist, even though her music, if you listen to her, it doesn't matter. She was doing punk rock music at first.
Right.
But that was a difficult place to break into. Just like seeing like a Mickey Guyton who does country music, but as a Black woman, it was hard at first for her to be accepted in that space. You know?
It's so crazy because I think Santi Gold is so interesting because I don't know if she's aware how many African girls lives that she's changed or radicalized. So many African girls that I know adore her, and that's like the beginning or the genesis of their journeys into self and like being alt and punk. Like she's the one. It's crazy, but yeah.
Oh, good. I have to, because I know she knows who you are. So
and I hope so.
I have to make sure that I'm gonna send her this clip.
Oh my God,
so
please
she can see
do.
it. Because the music business, I think, can also be a really tough one.
Absolutely.
Especially when you're a creative and it's not always just about the money. Because I'm sure there's opportunities that you've had that you've you've been like, I don't know if that goes with the direction that I'm creating for myself?
Oh yeah, 1,000%.
You know, so how is that for you? Because even seeing you going on tour, right? Like you did your own tour, and we'll talk about that in a second. So now Sabrina Carpenter, and then also Kay Trinata doing dates with Kay Trinata. I mean, that is like the realm,
right.
I feel like, and the elite in each of their spaces that they're in, you know. And so for you, having just come off your own tour, tell me what that experience was like.
I think what I loved was that these artists were all personally asked to have me do their shows, and I think that what it showed me was that my album Fountain Baby and just the music that I create is so diverse that it can touch different people and different audiences. And to see that the artists that are at the top of their game in their respective fields can recognize that and be like, okay, there's this one thing that you do that I feel like matches my energy, but then there's also a whole other world that you create, and that's what I want to expose my audience to. And the different artists that I've worked with, like Katra is just so chill and so much fun, and his sets are bouncy and everyone is having a good time. And then like with Childish Gambino, working with him in the studio, for example, he's so intentional. And then when you realize how he's able to work on a song with you and get a certain type of performance or delivery out of you, you recognize how he's such a great director and how he's made such an impact, not only just in like music, but also film and visual. And then I think Sabrina was the one that shocked me the most because
right?
Because I remember asking her, I was like, so who on your team like asked you to do this? And she was like, well, no, I really liked your album and my best friend and I play it all the time, so I really wanted you to come. And I was like, okay. And I was like, you know, it's gonna be a little spicy. And she was like, I want you to just fully be yourself.
That's dope.
No, so after the first night after the show, I went backstage to go see her and I was like, hey, I'm totally open to feedback. If you want us to pull back, if you want us to change anything. She was like, it's perfect. Don't change anything. But then I watched her show as well. And then I got to see how diverse musically everything is. And like the arrangements go from everything from pop to jazz to country to like even like tinges of R&B and hip hop. And I'm like, oh, you like music. Like you're really here for the thing. And I gained, I already had a lot of respect for her, but I gained a whole new respect for her taste level and her artistry and really understanding how to maneuver through all of these different genres and styles.
That's nice and organic that she was the one. It wasn't like the team was like, you know what would be great to put this person on because this could be a good way to do it. It was just something that she just was like, I like your music. Do your thing.
I was shocked. I was shocked. I was like, okay, girl.
But you shouldn't be, because I feel like you've been getting tons of accolades, even, seeing your previous albums make the list. Like I saw Pitchfork had you back in like 2018, I think, on their list of like top albums of the year.
Yeah.
And I just feel like people, Kali Uchis, the song that you have with her, because I love Money too.
But no, period, Angela. We all do because,
What was your financial situation like before this music started blowing up?
So for me, I have to say that I am really grateful to I had a mom that has worked her butt off for years, and my mom actually is my manager.
Yes.
And when I started music, I remember thinking to myself, who do I know that's resourceful and smart and learns quickly on their feet? So I went to my mom and I was like, hey, here's a business plan. I really want to be an artist. I think this is how much it's going to cost. This is how quickly we're going to recoup. Will you help me? And she was like, okay. And so, my mom has always been like a middle-class working women, always worked at the top corporate jobs, so she's taken care of myself and my brother really well and has provided us with opportunities to grow. And when we both wanted to come into the world and do our respective businesses, she not only, it wasn't like, okay, go out into the world. It was like, all right, I'm going to be your mentor and I'm going to be your business partner, and all the things that I've learned from working from Coca-Cola to Citibank to Citigroup, I'm going to give you guys this knowledge and impart it on you, but also supervise you and help you through, your respective paths. So I'm grateful to just have such an amazing mom who has really dedicated her life to making sure that I am right where I am right now.
That's dope. And your dad was into fashion too, right?
Yes, he was.
So
oh
you
my
got
God.
it for both your parents. parents.
Yeah, no, my dad loves clothes, and that was also one of the things that he did. He imported and exported fabric, since I was a child. So that's kind of been his bag. He loves clothes and he loves to get dressed and he loves to be the center of attention. So yeah.
And so you were born in, correct me if I'm wrong, in the Bronx?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the Bronx and
BX, Cedric Ave.
Wow, and then you went to Atlanta?
Yes, ma'am. No, so
Accra?
yeah, then Accra.
Accra.
And then I lived there till I was about 8, and then my mom went to go do her master's at Gwezueta Emory Business School, so she moved us there with her, and then she came to New Jersey to work, so we lived in Jersey. Then I went back again for high school in Ghana, and then I went to college in Atlanta.
I think that's so dope. I think that also is a great influence because, like, for me, I feel like I grew up my whole life in Brooklyn and then I moved to Jersey. That was it. I've never really lived anywhere else. But just imagine what you're exposed to when you have all these different cultures and all these different, like, very, very differing places that you actually can be comfortable in and spaces to move around in. How do you think that influenced your music, being able to move in to different places like that?
I think constantly moving taught me how to be adaptable and how to be malleable, and I think that shows in my music. No matter what artist I'm featuring with, or no matter even in my music, whether it's punk influence, whether it's Afro influence, whether it's rock, hip hop, whatever, I'm always able to maneuver and move through the music. And I think that's what that kind of lifestyle taught me, is just how to be adaptable and to move through the world and to be flexible in my thought process and to be open to learning.
Now, the video for Sweet.
Yes.
We had it. That's, by the way, a beautiful video.
Thank you.
Did you feel like that was risque for you to make it? I saw you on the news recently saying that when you go to Ghana, you feel like you don't get the love that they should be giving an artist, because you're somebody that is very intentional and also making sure that you are, I think, being inclusive of everyone.
Absolutely.
Do you think it's like risque moves like that gets you back in Ghana criticism, or?
You know what? I think that I came out of the gate swinging. Like one of my very first music videos it had trans women in it. It had gay people in it, kids in it. It had the world. Right. So that's my representation of, I see the world and I care about the world and I care about community. So that's what like my visual representation is all about. But like with Sweet, I was just like, it would just be sexy to be sexy visually, and have a sexy girl lying on the bed. Like, why not? It's 2024 and we live in a world that accepts all lifestyles and all paths. But to answer your question, as far as like, maybe let's say not receiving a certain level of support or amount of support, I definitely do think that my music was niche and is still considered niche to the people back home. And I think that support-wise, I see it from the girls that are just like me. They are the ones that are championing my movement and are like, oh my God, we love Amaarae, blah, 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 blah. But then I think in a grander scheme of things, I think I radicalized the population a little bit. And it's like, let's see how it goes with this girl. But ultimately,
the world is very conservative still.
It is. Yeah, it is. And
even when I'm on the radio, certain things are like, certain markets, I don't know if we can talk about that or we could do this because some places might have an issue with it. But it's kind of like, guys, it's 2024.
No,
like,
literally.
Everybody relax.
And I think that the artists now, too, like when you just think about all the coolest artists in the world, like they're so diverse and so malleable and so flexible, and and it's just like, it's a great big world, and I think everyone is just rolling through it. But I think that when we talk about conservatism, I do think that it's the generation before us that's still kind of like, there's still a changing of the guard happening. Right. And I think the older generation is just kind of like, you guys are just a little too much. My mom almost was like, you're not going to drop that video. And I was like, watch me.
You're like, this is working for me.
No, I was like, girl, watch. Like, no one is gonna be upset. Like, it's hot. It is what it is, and it's fun. It's fun to, I think, push people to think outside of the box and outside of the lines and the things that they're used to thinking.
Now, when you put out Fountain Baby, now I saw several times you said you had gotten out of a relationship that was really difficult.
Yeah.
So was that you doing a breakup, or did somebody break up with you? Like, what was the issue?
I think Fountain Baby was really just about, a process of self-discovery for me. And what was cool about it was that, you know, the person that I was in love with at the time just happened to be a conduit for that self-discovery. So it's really a lot of me going back and forth with this person, but truly it's an internal struggle of like, do I think that you're the right person to help me get to the places that I want to be? And what are the things that you do, whether you're aware or not, that either scare me, challenge me, push me, or hold me back? And that was the whole push and pull of the album. But yeah, I think that ultimately it was like self-discovery for myself. And, you know, a person just happened to be a muse and a conduit for it. And I thank them for that. So,
right.
Yeah.
If anything, from every relationship we learn.
Absolutely.
And we grow from it. We learn what not to do. We learn what we do want. We learn what we don't want.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's facts. That's facts. No, but I think outside of that too, you know, I for sure, like, I can definitely understand like the devastation of it all and just like, you know, going through something with someone that you've been with for a long time. But when you come out of it too, it's so refreshing to be like, oh, okay, now I can see the world clearer.
Princess going digital, baby.
No, literally, you know, we're back in the streets. We're back in the
outside.
Streets. No, literally, yeah.
Now, as far as you, you know, did you produce all of this too, or? Well, no, not everything, but you still are producing for yourself?
No, yeah. So I'm always the exec producer on my projects. And then I have two other exec producers that I work with, Q Steed being like, you know, one of my main ones. And then we have kind of like a smaller group of, you know, people that we work with and that helped to produce the album. So shout out to all the boys. But yeah, I worked on this project with like a team of amazing producers, and yeah.
I saw you said that Babyface influenced you and made you actually have to go back and rewrite an album.
Yes, ma'am.
So what's the process like now for you?
So I think the cool thing with meeting Babyface was this is probably the human being that has written the songs that have defined all of our lives, right? Like, I'm pretty sure I was like conceived to a Babyface song. So imagine going in and you watch his process, and the cool thing for him was like he never leaves a story open-ended. So it always has to have a start and it has to have a beginning. And when we were writing together, I would say a line and he would be like, yes, but why? And what does this lead to? And what does this teach the audience? And I was like, oh, I'm just saying things because I just think they sound cool and fly. But actually, there should be a method to that, you know, and you should end every song having taught someone something. And so when I did those sessions with Kenny, I went back and I was like, I called my co-writer, Mason. And I was like, hey, we need to go back in the studio and rewrite the album. So you have to fly to Ghana. And he was like, oh, okay. And then he came, and I love that he took the feedback on board. And every time the same thing Kenny would do to me, why? Can that be stronger? What are we teaching them? Does this make sense? You know, so that's, shout out to Kenny, shout out to Babyface, the greatest in the world.
Man, I had him on Lip Service, and he was saying that you don't have to be... what was he saying? He said you don't have to use like foul language to get your point across in music. And Ari Lennox was on that episode too,
right.
And we were like, well, sometimes it's kind of, sometimes it does sound kind of cool though, because sometimes there's no other way. I think, or sometimes it can still be a great way to express yourself. But I was like, but Babyface, respectfully, yes, we're going to just agree with that. Because you don't ever want to talk crazy in front of Baby. He's like so nice and sweet.
And so chill, yeah.
Yeah, and so chill. It's like, you know, you got to hand it to him, like,
but I think,
Babyface.
yeah, I think for him, he has like a special talent.
Yeah.
Like a crazy talent of writing songs where he especially can probably communicate so many different types of emotions without having to like use swear words. But I think that, you know, for like the youth, we're angry and we're confused and we want to rage. So I think that that's probably the difference, where Kenny is so classy and Kenny is so reserved and everything that he does is so intentional. And I think that that shows in the way that he writes his music.
Now, why do you think the youth is angry and confused? When you just said that now, I was thinking about when I was younger. Was I angry and was I confused? And I don't know if it's like I feel like there's so much exposure to things today that it does kind of create a lot of confusion.
Yeah. as like a youth who needs like who have you seen rent prices?
Oh, okay.
Food prices? Like, what are you talking about? When my parents were coming up,
we were just talking about that.
What? Oh my God! When my parents were coming up, like they were able to have like a starter home and start a family.
That's a fact.
What are you talking about? We're going through it. The rent is insane. Food prices are insane. But I think outside of that too, I saw the funniest thing on my way here. There was a monster truck going around, and it had a bunch of like Confederate flags, and it was a Trump rally, and they had Joe Biden tied up. Literally there was a bumper sticker on the end, and it has Joe Biden tied up, and it says "The hoe has got to go."
What?
This is happening in
Wait,
real
hold
time.
on. Where
New
was
York
this?
City.
This
I will
was
show
in New York
ma'am, on
City?
my way here, I will show
That's
you the
wild.
video.
Have you seen? That's crazy.
I will show you the video, and then there's a second car behind them, and it's like dummy dolls of Trump in the car, and then on the side it's pasted. You know, when he got shot and he did the thing, it says "Legends never die." I said, "Oh my God!" Like that's what I'm saying. Like we're living in a world where everything is so unfiltered and unsolicited, and we're exposed to everyone's thoughts all the time, and exposed to so many things. And I can see why as youth we're confused, and it's a difficult time because there's no filtering of anything.
Well, thank God you have the outlet of music to be able to express
Absolutely.
yourself.
Yeah.
And as you're working on new music, and so you did the extended version, Roses Are Red, Tears Are Blue, with 7 new songs on here.
Yes.
Right. And so was this always like the plan to have the extended play, or was this supposed to be a whole new project?
No, it was supposed to be an extended play. Yeah, it was like,
because it's like a whole new.
Yeah, no, literally. I think about it now. I'm like,
project.
I should have done that. I should have just made it a whole new project. But we just wanted to do a deluxe for the album and kind of.
It's amazing too.
Oh, thank you.
You pay homage to Young Thug on here,
love him.
That's even something that's crazy that's going on. His trial, the longest trial ever in Georgia, in Atlanta, and it's a mess.
It is a mess, and I think that when I think about artistry and what Young Thug has represented for so many young people and so many young artists, he's such an icon. But then I do think about the fact that, there are repercussions to actions, and I do think that, we have to think about the nuance of it all. It's like a young man in the streets trying to provide for his family has probably done things that he's not proud of, but then at the same time, it's a cycle. It's a vicious cycle. I think that it's difficult once you come out of that and you have the opportunity to lift others, to leave that type of life alone. And I think that that's kind of like the nuance of what we're seeing with Thug, where it's this icon that we love and we adore, but there's also mistakes that he's made that he's being held accountable for. But at the same time, you think about the system and why was he even there to begin with? How was he even a young black man that needed to do the things that he needed to do to begin with? And yeah, the trial is an absolute mess, and I hope that everything gets figured out. But ultimately, I think once he's like remorseful for his actions and just ready to start a new leaf, turn over a new leaf.
I love that you said that like that.
Yeah.
I think that's because sometimes when we really adore certain people, we can overlook things
right.
and not understand that, like, okay, there is some things that there are repercussions for people's actions at times.
Absolutely.
While we might love someone as an artist, I even watching, I know everybody's talking about Diddy right now, but even watching that, like for a lot of people, he was like, this is what I want to be. I want to be like Diddy. I want to work for Diddy. I want to do this. People were calling themselves, naming themselves after him. But then we see all of these things that are coming out, and people there are some people who don't believe it. They're like, how they said,
oh my God, there's overwhelming evidence to the contrary. What are you talking about?
People definitely make excuses if they like someone or if they admire somebody. And I think there's definitely a mistrust of the justice system here too. And so even like when, certain people will be like, well, they always pin these things and it's to make the black man look bad. And because it has happened in the past, but like you said, there are a lot of people coming forward. I think there's like 100 new cases that are happening right now. So how, the music business is also not an easy place to be in, but at least you have your mom as your manager.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm grateful for that.
Were they like scared about certain things for you? Because even just financially, people signing deals that aren't like the best deals and getting taken advantage of, but then also having to be in the studio. You're a woman, you're, a beautiful woman. I'm sure there's times when people can test you and try you. What has that been like for you?
Well, as far as just having someone that had my back, my mom is on everyone's but and she's reading the contracts and being like, this is not gonna fly, this is gonna fly, I can negotiate on this, I can give some leeway on that, but ultimately I care about her pockets, you know what I mean? And she's also the CFO of the company. Like, all the money goes through her and everything has to be approved, and obviously she'll have conversations with me about, hey, we're spending this on that, this costs this costs that, but she's really like safeguarding the legacy that we're building. As far as being a woman that, has to deal with men, I think that I hold my own pretty well. I will beat you up. and it's not even a game. I will beat you up. And my brother too used to go everywhere with me, and he's like a tall, dark dude. So you're not about to start acting.
It's a family affair.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. It's a family affair. So,
You were also the first Ghanaian artist to do Tiny Desk.
Yes.
That's wild. That all this time they've been doing Tiny Desk, that's never happened before.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of crazy.
Your Tiny Desk was amazing.
Oh, thank you. It's I didn't. Yeah, I hope I get to redo it. I was so nervous that day, and I hated that.
You did a great job on there.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you will do it again, though, because obviously you have new material and new music to be able to do that. So
yeah. I'm gonna go beg them and be like, guys, I need a redo. Let's run that one back.
I enjoyed it, and it got like hundreds of thousands of views like right away. I remember when it came out.
No, for sure. No, I did enjoy it, but I was so nervous that like my voice was cracking the whole time, and I remember listening back to it, and I was just like, oh. It's like people come to the concerts and they hear me actually sing, but then it was just like, that was a whole different situation. But shout out to Tiny Desk. I love them, and they've done so much for our culture. So
it looked like a fun time too. Like everybody was having fun. All right, what's been the most surreal experience for you so far to this point? Like something that you're like, man, I can't believe this happened.
Wow, actually, seriously. Opening for Sabrina for MSG. That was crazy. I was like, I had to think about it maybe yesterday, and I was like, yo, do you remember when you were like in your mom's house in Ghana, like making songs and hoping that something would happen, and like, this is what, 4 or 5 years later, and this is where you're at. You need to think about that. So that has been surreal. That was number one. And I think number two was working with Babyface.
Wow. Okay. Legends.
Yeah, no, it's like, I had to once again pinch myself. This is a man whose music, I love the Waiting to Exhale soundtrack. Like, his music has soundtracked so many moments of growth and of realization for my life. And to be sitting across from him and he's like, yeah, call me Kenny. And he's like writing and he takes feedback on board so well. And he's asking me my opinion on things that he's like writing and doing. And it's like, oh, like Babyface respects me. That's crazy.
That's funny you said that. We had a whole conversation the other day about the best soundtracks ever. Black Panther was, I think, for the most recent times that would make the list.
Right.
And but we also, I said, Waiting to Exhale is definitely up there. And as far as top soundtracks, I had Prince, Purple Rain at number one though, and so because Rolling Stone had that at number one, and I agree with that.
I agree with you on that too. I think I would put. I'm not gonna lie. Waiting to Exhale, I think, should be top 5 though.
Yeah.
When you think about the impact of those songs and the fact that he got all these women together and told this really incredible story across like 12 tracks. Oh my God.
Yeah, we'll never forget the 11 years.
Oh, what?
Out of my life.
Besides the kids, I have nothing to show.
And I was your secretary, not even secretary.
Iconic.
Listen, music is really like the soundtrack to our lives. And so you do this so well. I think our Navy, who runs the boards, and he's also a DJ, he was saying how Princess Going Digital was like the soundtrack for all of Williamsburg and Brooklyn, like for the whole entire. He was like, that is a song. Is it amazing to you to see like just the TikToks that people do to your music? And
it's so incredible, but I think that it doesn't shock me because when I make music, I really make it like oh, I need the girls to feel sexy. Like Princess going digital, I was like, I want girls this to be their anthem, you know, and all the alt girls and all the gays and all the guys, like that was really like, it was a goal for me. So to see it manifest like that and to see people making TikToks and dancing to it and to see the girls outside, like, yes, take me out the streets. I'm like, yeah, I feel blessed. I feel like I've achieved the goal.
I can't even imagine what your DMs are like from the people that you've touched with your music. Honestly, for real though.
No facts.
Because like I said, music is something that is therapeutic for a lot of people. And the way that you represent everybody, so like, it's just amazing.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that coming from you. It's very touching. Thank you.
Listen, it's not going to be long from now when people talk about the icon that you are.
Oh,
so.
Wow. Whoa. That's huge. No, I mean, yeah, from your lips to God's ears, you know.
Well, listen, thank you so much for coming through, and I hope that you continue to come by as we're watching you. When is the tour over?
Oh, man.
This
October 15th.
And then you're right back, right?
Yes, ma'am. I'm off for 2 weeks.
Okay, and then I got to ask you this. What do you do for fun?
I sleep. Oh, I'm a sleeper. I'm a real sleeper. Like, that's my jam. I sleep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then moving forward, what have you learned from past relationships to what you do want moving forward?
Wow, that's a great question. I think that I'm a true lover girl. I recently came to that conclusion. And I think that what I'm really seeking is someone that is going to give to me as much as I'm willing to give to them. You know, like I want someone that's equally yoked, mentally, spiritually, financially, but also someone that's like fun and daring and that's going to push me to be the best that I can be. So yeah, I'm just looking for love.
That's a lot. I don't know if you'll get all them things, but you know,
I'm
yoked plus.
No, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I believe it. God is sending my blessing right now. My blessing is on the way right now. I know it.
Your blessing might be in your DM soon.
Oh,
all right.
Right.
All right, well, thank you. And you guys, make sure Roses Are Red, Tears Are Blue, a Fountain Baby extended play. Amazing. It's a good time. It is sexy.
Yes.
It's great for no matter what mood it is that you're in. I want to say that I love Angels in Tibet. That is my song, too. It's just the vibe. It's like very, you know, a song like Bohemian Rhapsody, how that song is just incorporates like so many different feels and Queen and just everything. Like I just love what it is that you do. Because I'm a music lover and I love all different types of genres of music. And I have also always hated that people have to be pigeonholed into different categories.
No, absolutely.
So I appreciate what it is that you bring to the table.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. And thank you so much for having me. I had such a great time.
All right. She's amazing, guys. Amaarae.
Way up.